This is the podcast number 2 for CH House with Mr. MC and Mr. CS from the University of... We're not going to tell you. Our topic today is the degeneracy of our university form versus the form of our home selves, aka in front of our parents. Take the floor, Michael.
Right, well, I mean, we could go on forever and ever regaling stories of how, you know, I act like an uncouth savage whilst at university, and, you know, Dick Whittington, the fop, in front of my parents. But let me just give you an example of our degeneracy. Not 20-odd minutes ago, just before this, we were preparing for this podcast, our housemate Ollie, he's not with us today, he will be in future podcasts though, had his arse cheeks spread apart, and Charles, my main man here, trying to chip a plastic golf ball into his butt cheeks.
With success.
Actually. Yeah, no, I think there's footage of that somewhere.
Yeah, it's a Snapchat.
But, I mean, that's just the kind of the level of degeneracy you're going to be...
And just to say, we're not drunk.
We're not drunk.
And this is 8 o'clock on a Saturday evening, to which we're not even going out. This is just us.
I should be at the fucking library.
Yeah. Well, you should. I agree. But, so neither drunk, nor on our way to be getting drunk, nor even going out. This is effectively a pastime of a Saturday late afternoon that we decided to do this on the spur of the moment. But I'll let Michael, as he says, regale you with further information of that.
Well, where do I begin, really? Do we go from first year, or do we just go from now? I mean, because I'll be honest, since we've all met each other at university, I feel it's like a tornado. The level of disgust, self-loathing, degeneracy has sort of warped, and like a black hole just sucks in all the rest of the degeneracy around, and till ultimately we're left with just a cesspool of nothingness and degradation, really.
Yeah, there's just nothing. I'll tell you what. Tell us how you are at home, and let's set that as the, as we say, a controlled variable to which we shall compare the level of degeneracy that is soon to follow.
Of course, I like that. That's academic journals.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
thank you.
Someone's been busy writing a
Oh,
dissertation.
yes.
Right, okay. Well, I'll give you an example. And this example is where, well, you've probably ever heard me, because I like to, like most normal people, I'm down with the kids. I like to Skype
down with the kids. Inverted comments there, please.
That paradoxically, not down with the kids.
Not down with the kids.
I like to Skype call my parents at home. And I don't know if Charles has overheard my conversations, but when I speak to my dad, we often talk about current affairs, the EU, DC, David Cameron, the big man himself, fucking platehead. Sorry.
These you do not discuss with your father.
Policy, everything that guides our day-to-day life, and how we function as human beings, working to the betterment of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the kind of conversation you'll hear over Skype.
Yeah, an educated conversation to which I should imagine there's a certain element of culture will obviously entertain your father.
This is normally over a couple of glasses of Pinot Noir as well. You can't go wrong with Pinot Noir. Of course. I don't know if that's the same for Charles. I know
it's definitely not the same.
You don't like wine, do you?
I don't like wine. I'm more of a potato person myself.
But yeah, I mean, what can I say? We just wouldn't get away. I think if our parents truly saw what we were like in university, they'd be sickened. Most people, I'm sure most people will see the Silent Sex and Suspicious Parents, where at the end of it, they confront them about what's been going on. There's a bit of, I didn't know he was capable of such weird, depraved acts, They hug it out at the end, but I honestly think my dad would disinherit me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we can say that we have been on such lad holidays where it is just a drunken mess, and I'm sure if our parents saw us on that, they would most likely spit in our faces. However, I think from that, whilst that's only 6 to 7 days, I feel like on a typical Friday and Saturday night, we evolve into that just base form degeneracy.
It's a classic. Was it Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde?
Yeah, great.
I mean,
well, I wouldn't say we're doctorates during the day. I'd say we're more civilized. Let's say we're civilized, and then we turn into the animals in the evening and at weekends.
consider a small coal fire. During the day, we're a simmering coal fire.
I know where this is going.
And as you can, in the evening, you know,
Another log gets chucked on.
Another log gets chucked on, and next thing you know, you're burning people's fingers.
Yeah.
The house is on fire. You're calling the insurance guys, and they're telling you to fuck off.
Yeah. You're done.
I mean,
fucked up.
a classic example. You can't. We're gonna have to describe this to you, but at the hallway into our living room of our house, there's just a what do you call it?
It's a timber frame panel door with
timber frame panel door.
a single sheet of single glazed privacy glass. So there's a large sheet of there was a sheet of privacy glass. You take it. You tell it much more efficiently than I do.
Well, me and Ollie went out. Ollie, by the way, again, as I said, not here. I'd say probably the worst out of all of us when it comes to
On a drunken state.
In a drunken state, he is a nightmare. He's a grade 1 dick.
Yeah. The Phantom Menace.
The Phantom. Well, he's not a phantom.
He is tonight.
He's a visible prick.
More so in the evenings.
We came in absolutely pissed out of our trolleys, and I go upstairs to put my phone on charge. I come back down, the glass is shattered, he's lying on the floor, and we're screaming for Charles for help. Because Charles didn't join us that night because he's preparing for an exam, and he was not best pleased, I don't think.
No, it wasn't.
I mean,
To which my advice was just leave it and go to bed, because in their intoxicated state, no wonder I would imagine I would see bodies upon awakened later on in the morning.
just sliced open.
Yeah, just like they'd start eating the glass or something. It's just horrific.
And just to give you some idea of the gravitas of how the situation, how angry Charlie was, how disappointed Charlie was the next day was he said, quote, "If you do that again, I will physically come down and stamp on all your fucking heads."
Yes,
quote.
yes, I remember.
Yeah,
that.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that affected.
I think I don't think that was because I was annoyed or disappointed at the door. I think it was just a disruption to me. But I look at that door, and by the way, it's still not fixed. And approximately 2-3 months ago, maybe a bit more, it's still not fixed.
Well, Ollie said his dad's gonna fix it, but
So far, the maintenance man from our landlord has taken the glass pane out. The remainders of the glass pane. It resembled somewhat of a guillotine previously.
it was
an accident waiting to happen.
accident waiting to happen.
Yeah.
I'm very much glad it's removed.
But these are sort of the tame stories we're telling you. I mean, they can evolve into much more. I mean, there's blood, there's violence, there's a lot, and a lot of vomit.
There's used condoms, vomit.
There is, shall we say, gametes. That is obviously sexual organisms flying around the place to which people sample off other. It's not a nice world we live in here. And just going back to the point we made at the very start, is if our parents saw sort of the things we did, I don't think they'd be best pleased. To which I don't think they'd ever talk to me for the foreseeable future.
They wouldn't see us as the same person. I think. You know how in ancient times they used to treat people with leprosy.
Yes.
You go and read, James 20:22. There'll be like a passage about lepers and how.
That's right. Read James 20-22. I'm not too sure whether you're ever going to do that, but give it a read. It's intoxicating.
Yeah. I mean, for any Bible people, I just made that up. Don't quote.
Don't really go read it.
Sorry, don't quote that as gospel. Sorry. What was I saying?
You were going to say something about James 20:22.
Yes, no. I'd say our parents would treat us like lepers of biblical times, and we'd have to go and live. Well, we'd probably end up living in this
this
shanty town we call Charterhouse Road.
CH House.
CH House, yeah. Oh,
Anonymous forever.
yeah.
Well,
No,
There was a few mistakes tonight with names and location, but
now I have to move again, Charlie. Yeah, no.
yeah. So I mean, I'm going to go back to first year and sort of describe our relationship. We moved into an ex-YMCA building that can only be described as a concrete lunchbox, basically.
I liked it.
I liked it, but visually it was...
It was not appealing. It was not aesthetic. It's not easy on the eye.
No. I mean, it was hideous.
I mean,
it was 1930s architecture.
Christopher Wren would be rolling in his grave.
Yeah, and the man who designed it got a knighthood. But moving on.
That's another topic.
We
will do that. We will do it. We will do a podcast on
our hatred for brutalistic architecture.
Yes,
but
no, I've got some venom. I've got some.
Yeah. I also have some knowledge to throw on that subject. But so we all moved into this block of apartments, flats / prison cells, and we were thrown in the deep end with about 120 people, and we started mingling. And as the year got on, we started forming relationships, into which we sort of let our guard down, and on a night out, rather than having just a few cans of beers, we'd resort to a whole bottle of vodka, maybe some Disaronno or Jaeger.
Well, yeah, I believe it was 90p Fridays.
90p Fridays at the local club.
Fridays. What was it? Was it Hush back then?
It was Hush back then.
It was Hush. We were literally the only people in there.
There was about 12 of us.
I think they, the reason why drinks were so staggeringly cheap, well, it was scandalously cheap, was obviously try and get the folks through the door. Those folks just so happened to be us.
Just us.
And
literally just us.
Good times were had by all, I would say.
Yeah. There's videos floating among the interwebs somewhere. I'm not too sure if we'll surface those.
Not much pulling being done, I seem to recall.
That again is another podcast.
That is our crippling lack of confidence is a topic for discussion on another podcast.
Yeah.
You're going to have so much fun.
We're not. We live this life.
We're delving deep into our psyche here, and I don't think that's,
It's funny because it's true. You can laugh at it. We cry at it, basically.
Yeah.
Anyway, so as first year progressed, we obviously got more and more confident in front of each other, started drinking more, and, daring each other more, to which, again, the chunder was flowing freely, shall we say. And by the end of the year, good friendships were made. However, along that way, things were seen that cannot be unseen. A lot of naked body parts, I would have to imagine.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, our absent friend Ollie Smith is a prolific exhibitionist, I would say.
He really could have done with being here tonight.
It's a shame that we just decided to do this spontaneity.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever seen a man fuck himself with his own penis? That's the level of, just ask yourself that. Imagine that.
Yeah, wait. Let's just have a couple of seconds and just think, have you? Because I have. And this guy tried.
We have.
He tried hard. I mean, I think he almost succeeded,
Well, it's because he's so small, isn't he?
Yeah. This guy...
like, the bell was actually on...
Yeah.
I don't think he managed to get it in, but it was really weird.
It was weird, and I mean, a couple of weeks previously, he tried sucking up his own penis with Henry Hoover, to which none of us have used previously.
I now don't even want to use it on the floor. Like, not if the floor is not even worthy.
That's a nice story to go into as well.
Yeah.
But freshers in our final year this year was probably the height of our disruptiveness, shall we say?
Do you want to tell the audience here how we got our first warning?
Oh wow! So this was an excellent story.
On our first night, by the way. Just imagine this, guys.
Yeah.
We had received a warning for eviction on our first night.
Mm-hmm.
Take it away, Charlie.
Yeah, okay. So basically, we started pre-drinking as you do on good quality stuff. Glen's, Chekhov, whatever we can get our hands under £5. Basically, we'll drink it. And as the night was going, we were drinking more and more and more. And I think we thought to ourselves, fuck it, let's have a wild one tonight. So we had maybe one too many. We get to the club, maybe one too many more, and we keep up with that pace. Just steadily poisoning ourselves with a bit too much alcohol for the night. And well, the banter was flowing freely again, and we got home, stumbling home, I should say.
Yeah,
And
almost crawling, maybe.
Yeah, it was not a pretty sight upon entry. And we got through the door, and our friend, not here tonight, he managed to, I don't know whether you'd say pull or just managed to acquire.
Yes.
It's a bit of a technicality, but basically he brought
got
a girl
to
back.
third base. Is that third base? Is that what Americans call third base? I don't know.
I think she was
Not
fully clothed for the whole evening. I think she didn't even take her jacket off.
Yeah, he did say it was a rather uncomfortable experience.
Yeah. So, he was out of the question for this. He was in his room, again, downstairs, watching a movie maybe, or trying his luck, basically. And Michael and I decided the night was still young, and this was 5:30, 6:30 in the morning, maybe a bit earlier. And so we've got quite a good surround system, which subsequently broke a matter of weeks later. And again, from our previous podcast, we like Tolkien, so we decided to throw on the Lord of the Rings soundtrack, full volume.
And for that, I must say, interject there, for those of you that haven't heard, weird enough to have not heard the soundtrack by Howard Shore for the entire
Lord of the Rings.
Peter Jackson's trilogy. It is sensational.
Yeah.
Some of the best things I've ever heard in.
Even The Hobbit is fantastic as well.
Not as good, but
agreed.
It is good.
It is good.
I think there's one. It's called To Death. It's in the final film, and it's pretty good. It's like I think it's when they charge.
Yeah, I mean,
it's when Thorin charges her. Sorry, we're digressing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what podcast's for digressing, isn't it?
Of course.
Anyway, so full volume, Lord of the Rings soundtrack. Yeah, let's say got to track 12, The Battle of Amon Hen, or something along these lines, and we thought it'd be a good idea to take our shirt off, and then it'd be funny to take our trousers off. And it'd be even more funny to take all of our underwear off. So it was Michael and I sitting in our living room, butt naked on the sofa, within inches of each other, listening to the works of, well, basically the whole of the Lord of the Rings soundtrack at full volume, with our elderly neighbour only a matter of 5 inches between us of brick, basically, to which she basically sent a rigorous text.
We recently like Frodo and the Ring, we came into the possession of a sound system which we bought off a...
Steal it was. It was an absolute steal.
Same, it fucking broke like 4 weeks later, but we had it on. It was a Sony surround sound, and it, the subs, speakers, the lot. We had this up. I think the max volume on the Sony is 40. We had it on 40. It was
100 plus decibels. Like
it was fucking loud. This was at 4 in the morning. No. Later than that. We got back. We got back at 3, so this must have been 5, 6 in the morning. Yeah. Like I say, I remember it being light when we finally got to the end of it all.
Yeah. And then we went to bed. Subsequent hours later, to be rudely disturbed. I'd say rudely disturbed.
Yeah, no, I was really taken aback by it because I didn't realise, to be honest, where we've lived in all our previous accommodations, we've kind of lived in a castle.
Yeah, we were in a bubble, basically. We couldn't be touched.
In the Quadrant Hall, as Charlie mentioned earlier on, the
concrete lunchbox.
The concrete lunchbox. We were impenetrable. We lived on numerous floors. We had security guards. We're a law unto us. It was. If you ever seen Lord of the Flies, imagine that.
Yes.
We're a law unto ourselves. So we did what we wanted, basically. Second year, we lived above a shop which shut after a certain time, so they were gone out of the house. So we were left to our own devices.
Mm-hmm.
But this year, this is the first year we've actually we're living in sort of like a residential neighbourhood, as it were.
Yeah, a semi-detached terrace.
We have elderly. They are elderly. Sorry.
Yeah, an elderly lady
and an old chap. Yes, next door. And we were rudely awoken to a rather large knock, 3 knocks, from our landlord, Tina, lovely woman. Again, another topic for another podcast, how she fucked us over.
Oh, wow.
She's not going to listen to this.
Yeah. Nobody will.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. We might as well just end it. Let's just kill ourselves.
No, basically, right. The next door neighbour had dropped the dirtiest and longest and biggest text message. Yeah, she sent a big old text message
I think
to
Ollie's
our.
got a transcript of this somewhere.
Yeah, it could feel like an A4 page. It was that long, and basically it said something along the lines that they've been playing music, and it said something like they've been making noises all night.
The exact quote. I'm paraphrasing. This will be in verbatim here. They have not stopped screaming all night.
That's it.
I actually, physically. I mean, I know we did make a lot of noise, but screaming, I thought, well.
No, I remember the noises we still make. That's basically our whole argument
I
here.
think they've gotten used to it now, really.
They have. But I mean, at the end of the day, we're 21, 22 years old, and we're still screaming like the crack kid from YouTube,
Some people I know are gearing up to buy mortgages. We're screaming. We're currently laying on a floor that hasn't been cooled in about 4 weeks. That was my responsibility. I shouldn't have highlighted that.
We're basically irresponsible children at the age of 21 and 22, and we love it, I have to say. However, we hope our parents never find out. I think that's the moral of the story.
Well, I think they imagine. They must know, because at the end of the day, they were young once.
Yeah, the thing is, you can't imagine your parents being like this. I mean, we've
Good point, yeah.
held out on some of the details. I mean, not most of it, but we tried to paint you.
Some of it is not. I mean, we could go to prison. Let's just leave it like that.
Yeah. I mean, okay, yeah, that might be a nice position to stop it then, before we incriminate ourselves.
Yeah. No, I guess what we're trying to convey in this podcast today is how all integrity, self-respect,
honesty and loyalty.
Loyalty. I mean,
basic manners.
Yeah, just.
They're out the window with university.
Yeah, they're all gone. Gone.
But to conclude, with going back to our controlled variable earlier, as to your civilized cultural conversations with your father.
Yes.
That only happens if we're excessively drunk. Our sober selves, as we mentioned before, we were practicing putting into somebody's arsehole. Basically, the civilized person that we are to our parents just doesn't exist. It just does not exist.
Before we stop it there, I want to pose a question. Who am I? Am I the uncouth savage here, or am I the young respectable gentleman I am around my father?
Well,
I don't know.
I think I could answer that, Mike.
What would you say, Jack?
The uncouth savage, without a doubt. I've seen what you do, produce, and your work. You are a savage, without a doubt. But we'll let you decide on that from the evidence that we've presented to you, and maybe you'd like to question yourself, and if you've had similar experiences, or you are basically us.
There's someone out there right now saying they understand.
Exactly.
Understand.
Yeah, and then on the other side, the FBI and CIA are there, being like, right, we need to take these guys in.
Yeah, we're most definitely on some kind of watch list.
Yeah. Again, another great podcast is the old group chat. That is... Yeah. But thanks for listening, and we shall see you very soon.
Bye-bye!